they start?
I mean, we've talked about it, and he's prepared for it. I mean, Mike understands that people are going to run at him when he's carrying out fakes, but I think that's the same thing for any quarterback. It's the same thing for RG3 too. So.
What can you do to prevent those hits, though, if you're a quarterback? If you're carrying out the fake and they're allowed to hit you?
Well, they're going to catch you first, right? So carry out your fake, run really fast.
Chip, your first game in Oregon didn't go the way you wanted. You still had a terrific season. Did that experience all the turbulence that went around?
Appreciate bringing it up.
But did that help you prepare and come back?
I think any game you play, whether you win or lose, there's no, I don't think when you win you say, hey, we didn't learn anything from it. I think you can learn from games that you win and learn from games that you lose. We played a quality opponent. It was a really good football team, really well coached team, but I don't.
No, I mean the turbulence that went, the opponents and all the other business.
It just happens. I think we're all a byproduct of our experience. So did we learn from it? Yeah, we learned from it. But do I want someone for that to happen again in this game? I hope not.
How's practice different with 61 guys as opposed to the way you had it for much of camp?
Just try to regulate the group work. So how do we get offense and the amount of reps and who's on scout squad and giving us those looks, and then we flip it over, and our twos, so to speak, and practice squad players have to be able to give our defense a proper look. We do a little bit of ones versus ones, and make sure we get up to speed, but we're monitoring everybody's reps so that, the biggest guys that you're concerned with is you're always going to get everybody understands that one's offense and the one defense are going to get work, but the guys you have to really take note of is the two offense and how many reps are they in for. So guys that have to play in games but all of a sudden get 65 scout looks, but they also still have to play and did every rep in special teams and all those other things. I think we're real conscious of that. So we've got a pretty good plan in place to make sure we monitor that for all of our guys.
Jim, you spent the last 8.
Whoa. I mean, was this moving? You were over there?
You're trying to be like Mike.
You spent the last 8 months.
Did you carry out your fake?
Sign me up.
There you go. I don't know about that.
I didn't go to work.
That's okay.
You spent the last 8 months.
Couldn't get in? Or?
You spent
shot fired, shot answered.
You spent the last 8 months answering questions about a team that you said you didn't know much about. Now that you're through the preseason, you've got your 53. What are your expectations for this team?
Our expectations is go out and compete hard, play and win a football game.
Do you think you guys have a little bit of an advantage just because, it's the first game, they haven't seen you guys on film and know what you can do with it?
We don't. I mean, I don't look at it that way. I know you're going against Mike Shanahan, who's one of the really, really good football coaches in the history of this league. So if we sit there thinking in our meeting rooms that, hey, we're going to try to pull a fast one or all that other stuff, that's not. We're just trying to go out there and put the best plan in place based upon the 46 players we got available, and that's how we look at it and think about it. So.
But it's probably safe to assume that
it's never safe to assume, just in general. So.
Okay. Well, you guys probably didn't show as much in the preseason as you're going to show on.
No, but neither did they. I mean, look at what they did defensively. They were pretty vanilla in what they did. So I think that's kind of an MO for everybody in this league. So.
In putting together the 53, what consideration did you pay to what Mel and Matthews did for you in the night?
None. It's about special teams. Every backup player on this team, and we've said it since day one, there's 3 ways to make this football team. Special teams, special teams, special teams. So it's where do they contribute from the special teams factor. So if you're going to be the 4th or 5th receiver, and right now that's Damaris and Jeff, is the value that they have to coach Phip and our special teams. And it's the same thing. Why do we keep 3 inside linebackers as opposed to backup inside linebackers as opposed to 1 backup outside linebacker? It's how those 3 players contribute on special teams, and that's kind of where it was. That's why we made the move to get Goody from Tampa Bay. It's the same thing. When you think about it, you can stand out there on Sundays or for us on Mondays with 46 players, with your starters not really contributing a ton on special teams because they got to play X amount of snaps offensively and defensively. Those guys got to go. And the special teams consideration at times outweighs their production as a backup linebacker or a backup wide receiver because, how are they contributing in the game? They're contributing as a special teams player. So all of our decisions were based on special teams when it came to backup guys.
Five Oregon guys, though. How much can that help you at all, though, kind of build what you're trying to do here?
If we were going to sing the Oregon fight song, we would. Besides that, I'm familiar with them. I know what they do, but I know what Jeff can do as a special teams player. I know what Casey can do as a special teams player. I was with Pat for a year. Isaac Remington's a kid that we brought in. We moved him to the offensive line just before we released him. The other guys we released in the offensive line aren't practice squad eligible, so we think he's got an upside as an offensive lineman, and we're going to take a look and see what he can do. But we also, with Dennis Kelly out, we only got 9 bodies in here for an offensive line, so we had to get at least a 10th guy in here, so we were too deep from a practice standpoint as well.
On that note, is Kelly definitely out for?
Yeah, Dennis is the one.
What about
guy.
Brandon also?
Haven't got the final on that, but I would imagine I don't think he's going to be able to get cleared. But he's got another meeting with the doctor later in the week.
James Casey?
James Casey's back.
He's back?
Yep.
Is Brandon Boykin starting the season as just a nickel corner?
Yeah. Kerry Williams and Fletch will start at outside corners, and Brandon will be the nickel.
You always say
Two more guys?
You got 3 good running backs out there. I guess Shady will get most of the rest. Are you looking to utilize all 3 with Bryce Brown and Chris Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I think all 3 of those guys certainly improve the ability to play, but it also just depends on how the game's going. So, how many reps you get offensively, but I have no issue with, if Bryce is in there on the 5th play of the game. If LaShawn just had 4 runs in a row, and the 5th one may be a 20-yarder and he's tired, then we got to get Bryce in the game. It's the same thing, but I think we've got confidence as a staff in all 3 of those guys. So.
You said that you don't care who starts, just who gets the reps and who plays and so forth. Players do care who starts. And how do you get that feeling into that locker room that
I don't think they
look
do.
at it that way
I think
too?
our guys want to play. So if you ask me the question, I think they're the same with you. Do you want to play the first play of the game, or do you want to play the next 60 of the game? So the bottom line is they want to play. So I don't think the starting thing is the big thing, and that's what I mean when I say that. Do you play the first play of the game? We're going to open up the game with 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 2 receivers. I don't think Jason Avant's going to be, oh my God, I didn't start. By the end of the game, Jason Avant's going to play a lot of snaps for us. So that's what I mean when I say who actually starts the game. It's how much do you actually play and how many reps do you get within the games.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.